Hello everyone, welcome to the week 60 update for ICARUS. In this update, there are some major changes to the in-game weather system. This is to give players a better understanding and more clarity on the in-game weather patterns with a 2-day weather forecast. As you can clearly see in the upper right corner, it says ICARUS 2-day forecast. If you did see yesterday's weather forecast video I put out, feel free to use the timestamps on this video to go to the next segment, which is all about what structures take damage from the weather patterns. So now I'm going to show you a graph which was created by Sarah from the official ICARUS Discord. So all credit goes to them for producing this. If you want access to this image, I will post a link down in the pinned comments for you so you can go and check it out and download it yourselves. Just a quick disclaimer though, that it might be slightly out of date, but it's going to give you the general idea of how the storms work by the time this video is released. So here's all the information you're going to need regarding the storm levels and the severity depending on the difficulty of the missions you're doing. So as you can see here, tier 0 to tier 6, tier 0 being calm, tier 6 is being your worst storms possible in the game. So now that you know the tiers, let's take a look at each individual tier and what they mean for you on missions. So as you can see by this brilliant graph that Sarah has put together, these are all based on medium missions only, so subtract or add one depending on if you're playing on easy or hard mode. So I'm going to use the heavy weather forecast as an example so I can explain everything to you. So from left to right, it basically starts at tier 1 and works its way through to tier 6, this weather pattern. And along the bottom, it's broken down into minutes and the duration. As you can see from left to right, the first part of the storm would be tier 1, which would be 10 minutes. Then followed by that would be the tier 2, 20 minutes later. So as you can see, the storm will slowly ramp up, in this case up until tier 6, which would be 50 minutes later, making that 80 minutes. And then the storm would gradually start winding down again at tier 2, which would bring this entire storm duration to 90 minutes. And on the left of the graph you see storm coverage, which I believe to mean that it's going to be how impactful it is on you. 0 not being very impactful, but 100 being the most impactful. So for example, if it was a tier 6 storm and being at 100, that if it was severe winds for example, it'd do a lot more damage. Now that we've covered the tiers, now let's have a look at which missions fall under which category for the weather forecasts. So first of all, I'm going to start off with beach day and what missions fall under this forecast. So this has a weather cycle of 100 minutes, of 40 minutes of a tier 2 storm. It ramps up to tier 3 for 15 minutes. Dies back down for 30 minutes at a tier 2 storm, and then goes back up to tier 3 for 15 minutes, and then it will go into its grace period, which nobody knows how long that is. So let's go ahead and look at which missions will fall under beach day. So all missions you see here highlighted in yellow is what will fall under the beach day weather forecast, unless something changes between me editing and putting out this video. So now I'm going to just put on screen all of the other weather forecasts with the missions alongside them in yellow. Feel free to pause it and take a look at it, or you can skip to the time on screen right now to carry on with this week's patch notes. Now that we have more information from the video I put out yesterday, we now have information on what structures take damage with this new weather forecasting system. So we'll be going from left to right, from thatch to concrete. So starting off with thatch, thatch has a small chance of storm damage, but it will take damage from everything else. Now onto interior wood, it won't take damage from tier 0 storms basically, but it will take small amounts of damage in a tier 1 storm and severe damage from every other storm. It is called interior wood for a reason. Now onto the wood. It won't take damage in a tier 0 storm, it won't take damage in a tier 1 storm, but it will start taking minor damage in a tier 3 storm and progressively getting higher throughout the storms. Now onto glass and reinforced glass. This is the one that interested me the most because this is the only kind of wall you can reinforce in the game. Tier 0 won't do any damage to glass or reinforced glass. Tier 1 won't do any damage to glass or reinforced glass. Tier 2 will cause some minor damage to glass and reinforced glass. But the damage will be different between the glass and reinforced glass, as you do get bonuses to wind with reinforced glass. Tier 3 onwards, you will take a lot of damage with regular glass, but you'll still take damage with reinforced glass now, but it'll be very minimal. Here's some footage of me and my greenhouse with reinforced glass in a tier 5 storm. As you can see, it took minimal damage throughout this tier 5 storm. Next up is aluminium. It's identical to glass and wood. Regular glass, that is, not the reinforced glass. And next up is stone. So stone through tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 is absolutely fine and not affected by the weather. But at tier 4s, 5s and 6, it can be affected by the weather. With the tier 5 storm, I tested this in. Only a little bit of my stone walls took a minimal damage of about 60, and that's it. But if you do have a persistent dedicated server, or if you go on a long duration mission and you have relied on stone walls in the past to keep you safe, you are going to have to think about that more now, because especially if you have a dedicated server which is persistent, which doesn't turn off, your stone walls will take a significant amount of damage over time due to the tiered weather systems now. And lastly, concrete. I'll just keep this simple. If you don't want the weather to affect any of your build now going forward, build concrete. It's as plain as that. The devs do go on to say in some more news within this week's update is the new backup system. The devs go on to say we're improving our backup system this week, looking into more safeguards against accidental data loss caused by corruption, players' computers shutting down unexpectedly, or good old human error. Backups for characters' data, profile data, and active prospects are now created at 30-minute intervals and stored alongside the original file with a backup extension. Users can manually restore a backup by replacing the original file with the most recent backup and removing the .backup file extension. The save files will be kept for up to 5 hours of gameplay, allowing you to manually roll back in 30-minute increments within this time frame. Unfortunately, I don't have one of these .backup extensions available save files, so basically it'll probably be in your save files folder with a .backup extension next to it, so if you have any issues, you can just go back and remove that .extension backup and you'll have your recovered save file. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I will leave the link for the patch notes down in the pinned comments so you can go and check out all the future content and all the other little changes that got added in the week 60 update. If you found this video helpful and you want to support the channel, it's completely free. You can always leave a like on this video, comment down below what you thought of it. As always, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here so you can keep up to date with all the latest ICARUS information and future survival games. Or you can go and join all of these beautiful people which you can see on the right hand side now and become a Ko-Fi supporter, and you can support the work I do here. Or you can become a YouTube channel member as well. Always recommend you go and check out my Ko-Fi though, as I can offer you a lot more perks over there and it helps me out even more. But I appreciate everybody's support as always. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next video.